Oh, they're soft now. Okay, what I'm going to do, turn it off because they're soft. If you want to drain the butter off of that, which you can, I'll go ahead and do that. Drain them off. I'm not running water over the vegetables. I'm just draining off the butter. I just want let them sit. If you want to use a margarine or a low-fat butter or whatever it is you want to use, by all means use it. I like real butter. I will use it as any chance I get. It's, to me, gives everything more flavor. Salt. I can never see how much salt I'm putting in there. I don't want too much salt. I don't want too much pepper. Let's notice how my this is going to thicken up. As you already see, it's already thickening up. So as it's thickening up, I don't want it super thick, so I'm going to add more of the milk and water mixture that we have. And as you cook this, it will thicken up. If it doesn't stay to a thicker consistency that you want as it's cooking, add a little more flour in here. A little more of the, a little more of the flour and then the water and milk mixture, and it'll thicken up again. But as you can see, it's already starting to thicken up some more. I don't want it super, super thick, and I don't want it not thick enough. Since I'm making 2 pies, I've got a lot of chicken and a lot of vegetables to go into this ingredient. Whisks are your best friend. Next to a good set of knives. I'll turn my chicken off because it's done. So back to this. Look how nice and thick that's getting again. You can see it. Add a little more milk. And let it thicken up some more. What I like to do is see if I have the right balance of salt. Because if you don't have flavor in your cream sauce, your whole pie doesn't have flavor. Even if you have seasonings. I want to see. And that's pretty thick. It's not too thick. It's not too thin. Turn this down just a little bit. Now, my husband will get out of my way. I'm going to add my chicken. Okay, got my chicken. Get out of there. Okay, my chicken's in here. And see how it looks fairly thick, doesn't it? That's the consistency I'm looking for. Doesn't take much to get that consistency. Next, after your vegetables have gotten most of the butter off of it, which they should have by now, pour those in there. Okay, we're going to let this cook for a few minutes to get everything to mesh together. Great value, just as good as any other pie pastry shop. Read the instructions for a 2-crust pie. I believe it says put the oven on to 425, which I'm going to do right now. You want your pastry shells to sit out of the refrigerator for a few minutes, just so they're more pliable. If they're too cold, they tend to not unravel well. and they're not as pliable. So if you let them sit out for a few minutes, they work really well with you. You can make your own pastry dough. It's not that hard to do, but this is a time saver, and you know, a lot of people just don't have that kind of time anymore. You just don't have the time to mess with making your own pastry dough. And it's not really hard to make pastry dough. We can make it at another time if you want. We'll do that. This is looking beautiful. That look gorgeous. If you want to put stewed tomatoes in there, if you want to put some green beans in there, if you want to put some succotash, or, you know, I've got peas and asparagus, anything you want to throw in there right at this point, because it's canned stuff, you want to do it now. That way they're already mushy in the can. Throw them in there so they're not too bad off. Make sure you drain everything before you use it. I'm going to have Paul taste this. It's hot, honey.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Good. Mm-hmm. This is a 9-inch. I usually make 2 8-inch pies, and it works really well. So I'm making a big 9-inch pie. When you go to put a pastry crust on, lay it down, fold it over. You can fill the other piece down at the bottom, and you can grab it just like Play-Doh. That's a good one. Now, once you pinch it together, if you want to make fancy, schmancy designs, you can do with it whatever you want to do. There you go. This is to let the air escape, and so that your pie doesn't bubble over on the edge. There you go. About one of these cost me like $5. It's a pie crust shield. Keeps it from browning too much. But we're going to show you the old-fashioned way, because not everybody has it. We're going to take oil. You don't have to, just lightly cover it, just the edge of it. And we'll take 2 or 3 pieces to cover it. This little trick will keep the pie crust edges from burning before the pie itself is done. Just remember, in the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes of cooking, take it off and you'll get a nice brown crust as well. If you didn't want to leave it on there, fine. It's not going to hurt anything. This is done when your pie crust is done. So when your pie crust is done, you're ready. Throw this in there. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Extra. There you go. Chicken pot pie. I want to add that you can make turkey pot pie, beef pot pie, pork pot pie, vegetable pot pie, whatever you like. 3 slices of fresh avocado, you have a meal.